Good evening. This is CTV News for Monday, May 11th. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm GINA BARTEE. Thank you for joining us tonight. Prince George's Sheriff's Department deputies shot and killed a man in a school parking lot. This is where it happened at about 10 o'clock last night at Cora Rice Elementary School in Landover. Investigators say it started as a domestic violence call. They say the victim got into her car to get away from the suspect, but he followed her in his pickup truck. She managed to call 911. A spokesperson for the sheriff's office says Prince George's deputies caught up with the man and tried to get him to surrender in the parking lot.
A number of times, repeatedly, to ram the deputies' vehicles, and of course they responded because they were in fear of their lives. He was not responding to their directives for him to surrender peacefully.
The man has been identified as Lionel Young of Hyattsville. The deputies were not injured. The incident remains under investigation.
More than 20,000 people from around the nation are here in the district this week to attend Police Week. Today, the 36th annual Washington Area Law Enforcement Memorial Service was held. CTV's Sonia Srivastava was there and has more.
Well, it's a day of remembrance here in the district. Hundreds of officers have gathered to remember and reflect on the memories of those who were lost. And I can tell you this ceremony is close to many of these folks' heart because they knew some of these officers. They gathered to honor and remember the sacrifices. One by one, as the names are read, family members and officers place a flower at the memorial fountain.
The families of all of these fallen officers continue to deal every day with the pain and the loss, and the agencies do as well. And there's so much collaboration, especially in the Washington metropolitan area. Many of the names that are being read by the FBI and by the Metropolitan Police Department are names that are familiar to individuals in the Sheriff's Office.
This is the 36th annual Washington Area Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Service. Chief John NESKY and few of his officers from the city of Bowie came to show solidarity for their blue family.
It doesn't matter if they're with your department, it doesn't matter what department or agency they're with. We know them, we've worked with them in other capacities, and it's important that we remember them.
The ceremony is personal for DWAYNE Preston, who is currently the deputy chief at the Bowie Police Department, but worked at the Prince George's Police Department for 21 years.
One in particular was very touching for me was Richard Finley, who was actually one of the officers that was assigned to me when I was the district commander at Beltsville Station when he was killed in the line of duty. So it's important that we come down and to pay our respects and honor those that have provided the ultimate sacrifice.
So you're also a former Prince George's police officer. When they were calling out the names here, what was going through your mind?
I started remembering some of the officers that I knew. Two of the officers who had worked directly for me at one time, Steve Goggin and Richard Finley, had both worked for me. Ryan Johnson was on a squad in the same shift with me when he was murdered.
As police departments across the country struggle to deal with what some are calling an image problem, officers here seem to focus on reminding themselves and all of us.
I think every officer in America wants to have a better, stronger communication, cooperation with the citizens they serve, because they know that public safety is a partnership. We require the cooperation, the communication of the citizens to provide law enforcement with valuable support and information.
Now, a lot of the family members that we talk to say they especially fly in for this event if they're not in the area, and they tell us that it's something very special, and they are certainly glad to be here in the district. I'm Sonia Srivastava for CTV News.
A candlelight vigil will be held on Wednesday, May 13th at 8 p.m. in the 400 block of East Street Northwest.
A pedestrian is dead after a CXX train accident in College Park this morning. Officials say around 11 a.m. near Mark Station, a train with 2 locomotives and 59 cars struck the victim as they were walking across the pedestrian crossing point. The train was headed from Baltimore to Columbia, South Carolina. The crew did not suffer any injuries, and the incident is still under investigation.
A single car crash near Cheltenham Veterans Cemetery in Brandywine turns fatal this afternoon. The incident happened about noon at Route 301 and Frank Tippett Road when the vehicle crashed head-on into a tree. No word as to the identity of the victim. Meantime, in a separate incident that left Beltway motorists at a standstill for hours this morning, this was the scene on the inner loop near the Greenbelt Metro Station. A dump truck overturned about 10 a.m., spilling sand across several lanes. One person with minor injuries was transported to an area hospital. Well, ethane levels are increasing in Maryland, most likely due to fracking operations in nearby states. That, according to a new study by a University of Maryland professor. Using air quality data, researchers found levels of the chemical increased by 30% between 2010 and 2013. Dr. SHERYL Ehrman says ethane contributes to climate change.
We were originally looking to figure out what the sources were of the volatile organic compounds in Baltimore, and our original approach didn't give us a quick answer, so then we started looking at each component specifically, which led us to look at ethane. We looked for other sources of ethane in the area, and we couldn't find anything else that accounted for why ethane was going up when pretty much every other volatile organic compound goes down. So we're actually concerned more about the climate change implications. So ethane's kind of like if there's smoke, there's fire. When the state of Maryland's trying to understand the amount that we're putting into the air that is contributing to climate change, we have to take into account what blows in from other states. And so this is hopefully helping the state to understand their climate change molecule budget, basically.
And Ehrman says a significant source of air pollution comes from the venting of fracking fluids, and that's why the research conclusions should be seen as a regional issue. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm GINA BARTEE.